But we've got a special day here. Good Friday, big turnout, at least a couple of thousand expected to be here. So we'll should hear through the effects mic a lot of noise, a lot of excitement as footy's just about to get underway for 2018. Interesting to see Mackenzie in the ruck for Doncaster. Yeah. No Jarvis.
And Lawler and Schimmelbusch lining up on each other. I think it'll be fascinating.
Doncaster going to the right of the stream, going to the central road end, and they get it forward, bundle it forward to centre half forward. No Cooper today. He's transferred clubs, so we'll see how Doncaster function going forward. First free kick is going to the Sharks, and it's to the new boy, Todd van der Haar, son of the legend from Essendon, Paul van der Haar.
The Flying Dutchman.
So a short kick finds his teammate in Fogarty. Great player for the last few years, coming from the VFL. He puts it long, but it's first suiting Blackburn, falls to the ground after a drop mark by the defender. Quick kick up. Didn't go as far as it went high, but a mark's been taken by the Blackburn defence, and they'll settle down with a kick out. Another short pass finds Hammond on the lead. Long way from goal, but he's getting involved. First touch at half back. Goes into the centre corridor. Could be dangerous. It is chopped off and well marked by Alessi. Alessi's looking at his options, goes to the left flank, got one leading option and hits him up nicely on the lead. Well done to Kalange, who's taken it about 40 metres out and was a useful forward last year, kicking.
Yeah, he kicked over 40 goals, I think,
yeah,
Gav.
31, I think.
31. A real important player. I reckon we'll need to go up a little notch and offer a lot for Andrew Tranquilli. He started off the game very well. He's been involved in a few of the contests, Davo.
Yeah, interesting to see that Blackburn do that switch across through the middle, got cut out again. Happened last year a few times with him as well.
So big angle for Kalange, puts it to the goal square, drifts to the right. It'll be spoiled over the line for a minor score. Doncaster, first shot at goal, one behind, leading Blackburn a minute and a half into this contest.
So Luke Parker to bring the ball back into play out here at Morden Park. As Blackburn is ready, 38-point victory last year's elimination final. Short kick in there, and he finds his target in Xavier Murphy. He plays on quickly, goes to the outer wing side, and here come the Burners down the far side. A quick now finds a target there, and Patrick Lawler just decides to go back about 55 out and assess his options, maybe probably closer to 60. As Blackburn flood the forward line, the target there is Hammond. He goes up, it's beaten to it there by Hartwig. The ball hits the deck, and out come the Sharks. Hands up now there to Fogarty. He's wrapped up there by Hammond and held to him, says the umpire, and we'll have a ball up.
He's one Hammond that Brendan Allen's very lucky to have, of course. Trained with North Melbourne late last year in the VFL, but came back super fit after that stint, decided to play on again at Blackburn.
To the tap down there from McKenzie, trying to do the roving there is Anarchis, last year's Chandler medal winner. Here comes the kick now in towards full forward. It's a contest there by Bathy, couldn't take the mark. Ball on the deck, and a strong tackle applied about 5 metres out from the goal square. We'll have a ball up.
One player Blackburn will be really looking forward to is Ryan Bathy, back for the whole of the season this year. Danger forward.
So just 1 point the score so far. The tap one down there by McKenzie, bursting through our Doncaster. Nice hands out there by Hall, and that way come the Sharks up to centre wing. And a strong mark taken there, going away with the flight of the ball by Conway. He continues with a kick up towards the direction of Kalange, takes a mark, plays on, he kicks, and he shanked it wide. His second point of the afternoon, and Doncaster's second point of the afternoon. They lead 2 straight behinds, leading Blackburn yet to score. 3:20 played here in the first quarter.
How good was that transition, Davo?
And I was just going to say, in this game, you already Blackburn are playing they've gone very, very high up the ground. No one in the forward 50. They'll try the transition football as well, I would imagine.
And like Whelan in the contest twice, he's got out of a congested area. This time the kick out finds Hammond half back. He's roaming from half forward to half back to get his kicks. That was a bit of a wobbler. Second of his missed kicks, but Blackburn are good enough in numbers to get around the contest, and Reid on the wing just spills it under pressure. Gets in the hands of Rambaldi, hooks it around to the corner of the wing. Outnumbered are the Sharks. So Blackburn win out and find a teammate through the skipper, Ponton, as he takes over from Fagan this year. Gets it long inside 50. Good one-on-one contest. Numbers get there with Anarchis at the foot of the ball. Gets bumped. Maybe a high one, but he had his head over it, and the umpire says, give it back to me. 40 metres out from Blackburn's goal.
Hartwig at fullback. He's a strong boy too, isn't he?
So it's a ball up, close to Blackburn's goals. Anarchis again with the orange boots is going to be easy to see, even if we know him well. So let's go boundary for our first comment from our boundary riders.
Well, first up, boys, I'll give you the weather conditions down here. It's very pleasant. There's not a lot of breeze and conditions very, very nice. A really sort of a late summer's day. There's a few jumper changes just for you guys to bear in mind too. Benny McIntyre's in jumper 4. Nick Gray's in jersey 31 and Mackenzie Dorian is playing in jersey 22. No other personnel changes in the Blackburn side. And for Doncaster, they have a personnel change with Bartholomew as a late out and he's been replaced by Christian Thiel in jumper 35.
Thanks for that, Brett, as the kick goes now out of bounds and we'll have a ball up just in front of the interchange of the Doncaster Sharks here at Moreton Park. And we've played 5 minutes here at first quarter, only the 2 behinds to the Sharks' name being the only marks on the scoreboard. In comes the throw now, the tap one down there by the Sharks. Players going in hard and one of them is Whelan and they will get a ball up on the centre wing. A bit of push and shove, a bit of feeling early between the boys. Jason Reed getting into the action there. And in comes the ball up. It's tapped down. And one now here by the Panthers as it comes in. Nice mark taken there by Bathy. And he's about 50 out of his own goal. Looks like he's going to steady himself and go back for a set shot.
He's definitely got the
this
kick.
is in his range. He's a lovely kick, this guy.
Kicked 25 last year. Second on the team for Blackburn. Behind only Jake Hammond. And he's on about a 30-degree angle. 50 out, and this for potentially Blackburn's first score of the afternoon. In comes the kick. It's got the carry. Has it got the accuracy? Is it over?
That's a goal.
It is. Blackburn get their first goal of the afternoon thanks to Bathy. They lead 1 straight 6. Doncaster 2 behind. 6:17 played first quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Well, they had to work fairly hard there, gentlemen, to get their first goal, Blackburn. One of the things, if they're going to push high, they better make sure that their disposal's spot on, because if they turn, with that great risk comes reward, but if they turn it over, Doncaster are going to pounce on it.
It is, but luxury being able to have Hammond play as high as what he is already, and then have the 2 other talls down there. So that's an advantage they got on this ground at the moment.
Rucks go out at the smaller Coman in the ruck for Doncaster, so it goes Blackburn's way to centre half forward. Underneath it was Hammond. He brings it to ground where Blackburn have got the Rovers. Baffy again in line, 30 metres out, front position. Hardwick just looked on as he wrapped his chest and arms around the ball. So Baffy looking for 2 in a minute as we tick past 7 minutes in quarter 1. And he's only played 12 games last year because of injury, but averaging over 2. He seems to be the focal point out of the goal square today.
He also played development squad football too, Gavin.
So Ryan Baffy from missed it to the right. He just come off the side of the boot, so it's a bad miss. 1-1-7, Blackburn leading Doncaster 2 behinds.
Already that worry with the big players up forward, isn't it, with Blackburn? So maybe Schimmelbusch is going to have to go back to full back.
Yeah, Hartwick obviously just getting used to the nuances of EFL football.
So the kick comes up, contested footy, spoil over the top, and that's going to go straight out. And we'll have a ball up. That was Nick Gray as he makes his way to the interchange bench. And a ball up just inside the 50 here for the Burners. And we had a good crowd in here this afternoon. In comes the ball up, contested footy, knocked down. Doing the roving there is Danaher. And out comes Anarchis, finds a hand pass out now, and he finds his teammate there in Josh Turner. The ball comes up, and that's spilled over the line. Excuse me, that was Thiel.
Yep.
And we will have, looks like it was just going to be a ball up. It feels for deliberate, but no.
There's some players new to us, and when they're late, the changes, we're going to get 1 or 2 wrong. But you got their feel, the new inclusion, so that caught us out there for a sec, didn't it?
Always professional, Gav, always. Here comes the ball, the throw in now from the boundary, knocked out there by Coman into the ruck for Doncaster. The kick straight up and under, no clean hands on it. As players fight, strong tackle applied there by Socio. And well, we've got a free kick coming out of that. And it looks like it might have been for in the back, I believe. That's going to go to Fogarty.
He's a welcome return, Socio, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He was very good early last year before he went overseas.
He probably would have been leading their best and fairest, I reckon, when he left.
So Fogarty's kick, doing the roving there is Banks, dropped what he probably should say. Yes, incorrect disposal, says the umpire, and a free kick going the way at Doncaster. That's picked up there by Monks on the near side, right on the boundary line. 55 out, and looks like he's going to try and find a target there in the goal square. It looks like he's going to have a ping, actually. Monks, 23 goals last year, third season at the Sharks. Didn't play in 2016. As he comes in now, the kick, it's got the distance, and it was marked on the line.
Looks like Lumasisi.
Yeah, Lumasisi has taken the mark right on the line, and may have cost his teammate a goal. Doesn't matter, he's put it straight through the middle, and that's the Doncaster Sharks' first goal of the afternoon. They lead 1-2-8, Blackburn 1-1-7, 10 minutes gone, first quarter.
Well, James Monks would fancy himself whenever he finds himself in range. We saw Doncaster last year, didn't we, Davo, against Norwood, and I think he kicked about 4 or 5 that day, so it was very exciting to watch. Lumachisi just marking that one on the line there. As he said, he's probably robbed Monks of a goal, but in his big milestone game, why wouldn't you?
He's going to have to take the place of Daniel Hooper this year, James Monks. They're very similar in build and height. He's going to have to play that role this year.
I think definitely, and having him and Kalanj up there, I think gives them that quite a good focal point as far as their good mid-range forwards.
Don't mind Lubachisi going for the mark and stop the spoiler, intercepting Mark's effort, and Doncaster win the ball out through Saville. They go to the left flank, going wide before they go deep from Van der Haar's kick. It goes long into the pocket, one-arm effort, drops to the ground. So Doncaster keep it in the area close to the boundary of the left pocket, and finally will be bundled over. So Doncaster have had a few forward entries. How do we assess their systems going forward so far, Davo?
Well, look, I think they're definitely going a lot longer than what I thought they might go. But, and both sides going around the outside. No one's going through the middle at this stage.
We've seen a turnover, how it can cost a score here at this shorter ground. So maybe the corridor might be, until you got control, might be not the place to go early on.
Oh, it was one of the things about Blackburn last year was that they were willing to take the corridor on at all costs. Even if they made mistakes, they were willing to take it on. So it'll be interesting to see as they get going whether they'll continue to do that, especially here.
So the boundary throw-in resulted in a ball up, and that ball up close to the line has now been bundled over for boundary throw-in. I seem to have a skill at creating stoppages, so I'm going to hand it over.
I put the mocker on me, Gav.
Well, I had about 5 in a row the first game last year, didn't I?
So 12 minutes in, first quarter, it's the Burners by 1 point as a kick now coming out, falls out here to Thiel. His kick in towards the goal square, contested footy, and well punched out there as Lumashidi probably tried to take the mark. Ball in dispute, strong tackle applied there by Conway on Mitch Thorpe, and we'll have a ball up.
Davo, you mentioned the game plan of Blackburn last year of Con Caraves using the corridor. Speaking of Brendan Allen through the week, they've tinkered with that a little bit, but don't be surprised if you still see elements of Con's game plan this year.
Al McKenzie decided to leave the ball up. The ball comes into dispute, and Anarchis laying the tackle. It falls in now into the hands of Saville. He takes a pop, and he puts it wide. Just the minor score here for the Sharks, and that extends their lead to 2 points. They lead 1-3-9, Blackburn 1-1-7, 12:30 played here in the first quarter.
I've got to say, I'm really impressed with the pressure that both sides are applying each other in their forward 50s at this early stage of the game.
Hammond was the target from the kick out, but Doncaster good to spoil and get it at ground level. A Fogarty over the top to Anarchis from the boundary, gets it towards goals. He's just pulled it a little left, and the late spoil concedes another point for Doncaster. 1-4-10 to 1-1-7. 13 minutes gone, first term.
They got opened up a little bit then, Blackburn. Got to be careful of that.
So short kick in. Socho couldn't take the mark. Ball on the deck, trying to dispose there of the Burners, and while trying to do the roving there was done. He managed to get the footy forward. Oh, strong challenge, and away come Blackburn now here through Young. His kick up towards centre half forward in the direction of Hammond. 1-on-1 there with Schimmelbusch. Hammond wins the footy. Well, now has it, finds the hands out. Great tackle applied there on Young. The ball jars aloft, and then out comes Alessi with the clearing kick. A grubber indeed, but it's fired right back in there by Gray. And a bit of aerial ping pong there on the 50-metre line, and finally Blackburn have control of the footy about 60 metres out from home, and the kick comes in now. Direction there of Hammond versus Marganis, and he takes the mark. What a mark there from Jake Hammond. Won the contest against 2 Sharks players, and he's going to go back from about 20 metres out directly in front.
I actually reckon I reckon that pre-season at North Melbourne's done him a good, because I tell you what, he's looking pretty lithe at the moment.
Oh, Stevie J.
Well, he snaps around the body, puts it straight through.
Very laconic as you like.
Blackburn take the lead, 2-1-13, their second of the afternoon. They lead Doncaster 1-4-10, 14 and a half gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Gee, if you had missed that, I reckon Brendan Allen wouldn't be too impressed.
But if it means they get more than half of them, you'd back him.
Yeah, and look, and I agree with you, Brash. The fact that he's able to run the way he is, he's got a great motor.
Yeah.
He's being able to play, transition up and down the ground as much as he likes, and he is so dangerous overhead. So they've certainly got some big keys up forward at the moment. Very different to Doncaster, who push out wide and then bring it in a little bit lower into their forward line. So very distinct styles at the moment.
What I love about that mark is he had front position and he took it uncontested, but he spread himself so wide and his legs were all over the place. He made it look so spectacular. So we got fooled into being a specky. It was, but he is a spectacular mark. Normally he jumps over the top of players, but this time he used strength to hold the front position. Free kick in the middle goes to Doncaster. Mackenzie's waiting for the ball to come back as Doncaster just torpedoed it in as far as they could, but the umpire said bring it back.
And that's when you get angry as a coach for the player doing that, because now it's allowed Blackburn to go all the way back, transition back and pick everyone up.
So there's no runners for Mackenzie until Schimmelbusch comes from the back of the square, drives his left foot through the ball. The leaders come at it, and at ground level, Alessi picks up the ball, just bombs it into the pocket, hoping for a mark. Punch comes in late, and Blackburn have got numbers at ground level in the back pocket and get it to the outer wing. But in good position is Hardwick, who may have made a switch on players. So he's got a new opponent now, Hardwick, as he looks at his options. All players ahead of him just about. So he kicks as far as he can. Got a not a bad option. Tout was in good position, not a noted marker. Overhead that is. And at ground level, Blackburn working it nicely. They're flooding forward from deep in defence. They get it long. The spoil comes late from Mackenzie. Big punch as he pushes his body through the pack, and he knocks the ball and concedes a point. So it's Blackburn at 2-2-14 to Doncaster 1-4-10.
That was just a classic. Everyone pushed in forward, basically 50, and then as soon as they got the ball, they all raced back out. It's the way that looks like Blackburn are going to play.
Hartwig's kick straight up the centre of the down. The target there was Mackenzie. It's knocked to the ground there, picked up here by Gray. He gets a quick hand pass out, and here come Blackburn. A short kick in, and that's marked there by Gray, and he's about 50 metres out.
Gee, there's nothing of him.
No.
So that's Dorian, excuse me. Jumper changes getting me again.
Oh, Mackenzie Dorian.
Dorian, yeah.
Yep.
So, Dorian.
Number 22.
We're all over the place. We'll get Brett Beston to confirm again for us, because I missed it.
Here's the kick now. It's shanked a little to the left. That's just the minor score, and that'll take Blackburn 2-3-15. They lead Doncaster 1-4-10. Let's go down to Brett Beston.
You did right, boys. Yeah, Dorian's in jumper 22.
Thank you very much.
And is Hood 31? Not going to get a response.
Gray's in 31, boys. Nick Gray is 31, and the other one was McIntyre, who's in jumper 4.
Yeah. So it's good of them to confuse us early as we go deep out of defence. But Blackburn again have got the numbers, trying to burst their way out of the pack. Hand pass finally comes to Banks, who goes to the wing. He's got 5 defenders around him, and Hammond can't help him. And Nathan Hammond, the vice captain, and he gets taken down in the tackle. So they were under a heap of pressure where Blackburn is. They did win the ball, but they were swamped by numbers on the wing. So they get to reset. Rucks go at it. Anaka's close to the boundary line. Is first to get on the ball. That tumbles it forward 30. And it's now pushed over the line from the next players at half forward. So I think it's just going to be ground. It's just some getting into some territory at this close quarters as we tick towards time on first term. Anaka's getting pushed wide to get his possession so far. A couple of possessions close to the boundary. Will suit Blackburn if he maintains that out for the day. That's a push in the back with the tackle. Unlucky, the physicality went over the top, and it's going to be a free kick to Hart. So Hart will pick himself up finally.
He's just given away 15, yeah.
But there's no concession of getting out of,
my bad.
out of the way of the ball, so Doncaster conceded 25, but they've set up nicely. So Monks held up the play with Hart, but the defence has got into the area, and now the spoil comes in. At ground level, picked up by Young. He's been tackled straight away by Malloy, and Malloy allows it to go out of bounds after it spilled out of his hands. So it's a ball in, 45 metres out from Blackburn's goals. They lead by 5 points, 19 minutes gone first term. Rucks go out at Conway, comes from over the top, trying to use his athleticism, but at ground level pushing off was Reed. Finally kicks around the corner to the goal square. Baffy's being outnumbered at ground level. Who has got the numbers? Blackburn first there, trying for the over the shoulder as he dipped his knees and he tried to reel in the tackle was Thorpe, but the umpire wasn't buying what he was selling. So it's going to be a ball up, 15 metres out. Doncaster trying to hold up. Anarchis goes through traffic, hands it out to Saville. Saville just loads up a Torp, and it does wobble its way to the middle of the ground. At ground level, it's Faulkner roving it for the Burners. He goes out wide, and Dorian, who picks it up, goes on his left, just puts it as long as possible. Buffy coming in late, but
Good
standing
mark.
tall. Beautiful by Schimmelbusch,
Gee, that
the
was good
legend of
mark.
the club, the stalwart. And he just plays on quickly, goes out to the left flank, and he finds his teammate in Alessi.
Alessi now elects to play on, hand pass over the top now here to Rambaldi. He kicks up towards centre wing. And while Mark dropped what he should have taken, it's taken away now here by Compton here for Blackburn. His hand pass goes astray. Blackburn retain possession of the footy. In comes the kick in towards centre half forward. The mark touchdown there. Schimmelbusch goes in hard, does the roving, manages to get the footy out. Hardwick and Arcus, and now on to his teammate there in Laybelt. As the Doncaster trying to burst through their own defensive zone. The kick there from Malloy was smothered off the boot. Here's a chance for Baith. He gets the hand pass over the top. Now for Mitch Thorpe. As players going in hard here in the Doncaster defensive end, and that's finally cleared out by Conway, and his kick is just inside the right side of the boundary line, and we'll get a boundary throw in.
You can tell it's the first game of the season with all the mistakes happening. I'm sure as the season progresses, they'll be ironing these things out.
Not least of which in the commentary booth so far. As here comes the
that was my silent in my own head.
Mate, I was on 2 minutes and I had a faux pas.
As Anarchis does the roving, can't win a clean footy, and players dive in, and we'll have a ball up.
I really like the way Blackburn's set up. They've got a lot of players that set up behind the football for that secondary handball out the back, whereas they're a little bit too close. They're like a 1 metre contest, all the Doncaster players.
So Mackenzie to do the rucking, and Arcus to do the roving. Neither can complete either. As the hand pass now coming out there from Gray, comes out now here to Hall. He's wrapped up by 3 Blackburn players, one of them being Ryan Hart, Jordan Hart, excuse me, and we'll have another ball up on the centre wing area. It's closer to the Doncaster side, sorry, the Blackburn attacking 50. As Mackenzie Coleman flies in the ruck, and well, that's knocked out of bounds, and we'll have a boundary throw in for something different. I'm putting the mocker on you now, Gav. Oh. It's your turn.
I'll play them out. So it's a ruck contest, 55 metres out from the goal of Blackburn. They lead by 5, 22 minutes gone first term. Mackenzie had the height from the back position to win it to ground level. Hall tries to keep it in. One of the 3 recruits that came from Strathfield, who won a premiership last year, so they're looking forward to his input this year.
Gee, we certainly can't miss Chris and Arcus, can we, with those boots on? Have a
No.
look how orange they are.
Well, the tagger should never lose sight of him. As at ground level, Thorpe walks over the top of it. Finally, it spills out the way of the Burners. So a long, long kick by Hood from 50. And did it bounce in? I didn't think it was, so I teed it off. It hit the ground 2 metres to the right of the post and curled its way in with a nice off break. That nice Gary would be the good comment. But it is Jackson Hood getting on the board. Blackburn 3-3-21, leading Doncaster 1-4-10.
It'll be the best thing that's happened in Australian cricket this week, don't you reckon?
That was poor.
Stick the
from
knife in as far as it'll go. No.
Yeah, that was poor from Hardwick, though. You know, as a defender, you got to do better than that. I know he lost sight of the footy, but can't allow that sort of stuff to occur.
Yeah, just sort of like he lost sight of it. Just lost sight of the flight.
Yeah.
So either way, it's a major score now here for the Blackburn as they win the centre contest as well. In comes the kick in the direction there of, well, it's moved up now. That's better from Hardwick. He gets tackled there by Bathey. Fans want a free kick. Nothing forthcoming. That's over the boundary line and forward pocket.
The one thing that Hardwick is going to have to get to learn here, he's not going to get as much time in the EFL as he does in the Essendon District Football League because the forward lines are used to putting so much more pressure on.
Yep. Mackenzie wins the tap down. Doncaster trying to get it out. Oh, this is a loose footy, but rushed into the point post. There is Hardwick.
Ouch.
And has won himself a free kick, I think, in the process. Yep. I think it was, the tackle was too high. So Hardwick to bring this one back in now here for Doncaster. Well into time on, 24 minutes played here in the first term. Blackburn with an 11-point lead. The kick out now here towards the half-back flank. And, well, play going nowhere. There's a good strong tackle applied on Van der Haar, and we'll have a ball up.
Interesting point you make there, Brash, about Hartwick. Obviously, he's come in from the EDFL. Blackburn have been moving the ball in really quickly this opening quarter, so he's been put under a lot of pressure.
Yep.
So a quick kick forward by Fogarty at ground level, gets it to half forward. Big spoil comes in. Blackburn hoping for the boundary line, but Anarchis keeps it in, but he's tackled over the line. So it'll be a ball up centre wing, outer side of Moreton Park. Close to quarter time. Blackburn 3-3-21, leading by 11. Doncaster 1-4-10. So rucks go out at Mackenzie, holds his spot, gets it to ground level with Fogarty again, picks it up. He just boots it as long as he can. Lumachese trails his opposition to the ball, and Hammond will chop it off. Gets it out wide, looking for his teammate on the pounce. It's Gray, trying to get my numbers in my head right now as the hand pass goes across half back. And skirting around there was Parker. Parker gets it out to the outer wing. So it's now flying towards Reed, who's got open space at half forward. Leading option coming at him is Baffy, and he takes the mark. Second grab at it. He's looking at his options further aboard. He's got Watkins doing a lead. He's going to go to Hammond, who now uses his body in the marking contest. No jump from him, and the spoil comes in from Benny McGarnis and is knocked over the boundary line, back pocket.
One of the things that Andrew Tranquilli was worried about was the outside spread. On that occasion, Doncaster was spread right open, and their back line at the moment is under huge pressure.
Doncaster win the tap out, but it's at ground level. Watkins picks it up, but he wasn't going anywhere because Molloy was right on his hammer. So it's going to be a ball up 30 metres out from Blackburn's goal. They look to extend their 11-point lead late in this first term. Rucks go at it, holding his ground again was Mackenzie. And at ground level, it's been quickly kicked out by Monks. He just dribbles the ball through the centre corridor. Players seem to run all around the ball, but finally picking up was Parker. He shares it around. Blackburn have got numbers on outer wing, got some run. Now the ball, just with the late challenge, was a turnover kick there from Parker, and it's been marked by Rambaldi.
So his kick up towards the half-forward line. Plenty of contest there. Not much Van der Haar could do with it. Loose footy on the deck. Players dive in. Parker gets a handball out and then turned as Hammond. And the play comes now into the hands there of Dunn. His handball, well, gathered in now and taken away there by a good hand blast by Danaher. And out come Blackburn. Here's the kick in towards the half-forward flank. Hartwig got knocked off the footy, but got knocked straight onto the footy and almost forced over the boundary line. And eventually done so is Molloy. We'll have a boundary throw in right on the 50.
Blackburn are doing everything right except their delivery into the forward line. They probably could be 6 goals to 1 up here.
Yeah, I think they've been far more impressive than Doncaster. Really just scrambled the ball out of defence, haven't they?
And every time they bomb it in, the Doncaster tall backman just punch it over the line.
So unable to keep that on the right side of the line there was Paddy Conton. And we'll have another boundary throw in. Well into time. 27 minutes played here first term. 11 points the difference. 3-3-21 leads 1-4-10 in favour of Blackburn. So Mackenzie, in the ruck there against Banks. It's knocked down for Conton to scoot onto. He turns the corner and spears one in towards full forward. Not much to aim at. The smallest player on the field there, Mackenzie. And Mackenzie Dorian, and the kick now comes out towards the outer side, and a mark taken there by Thiel. Thiel now, his kick in towards centre wing. Well, it was a poor one, and it was taken straight away by Conton. He gets the footy back where he had it just moments ago. He puts a kick now in towards centre half forward. The target there being Hammond. Well in there was Hartwig. Wrapped up in the tackle there was Alessi, and he's sent to the ground inside the 50. We'll have a ball up.
I think there's a lot of Doncaster players getting lost in transition. It seems to be when the ball goes down Blackburn's forward line, there's a lot of one-on-ones. Goes down Doncaster's forward line, there's 4 Blackburn to 1 Doncaster. Getting lost in transition, I think.
Mackenzie wins the tap, and Doncaster win the footy there through Fogarty. His kick up towards centre half forward, and a great mark taken there by Conway, and he's away in hot pursuit. There is Faulkner, made a meal of the bounce, and had to apply the tackle in the end. And Hall now gets a hand pass out there to his teammate Will, and he kicks in. That's the siren, and that won't count in terms of a mark, and that will do it for the first term of play out here at Moreton Park. It finishes Blackburn 3-3-21, Doncaster 1-4-10 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
That was somewhat of a case in point there of what you just said there, Davo, to fumble that. We know Tyler Faulkner's rarely beaten one-on-one, of course, so they've been let off a few times, Blackburn, when Doncaster have gone forward, and that's another one of those occasions.
Yeah, again, I think they just were a little bit clumsy.